Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for us to welcome right now into the blue corner from Agoura Hills, California, Zack Kraschinsky.
Getting set for 3 rounds of action at 161 pounds. Undefeated, Zack Kraschinsky comes in 1-0. His victory at round 1, rear naked choke victory. And let's hear more from Kraschinsky.
Hey, I'm Zack Kraschinsky. I'm 1-0 as a pro, and I'm fighting out of Boston's Elite MMA, hometown, Agoura Hills, California. Yeah, I think, you know, anyone who's watching, they're probably trying to figure out, like, what my style is. They probably thought, like, oh, he's probably just a striker, he doesn't want to go to the ground, but in reality, I'll go wherever the fight goes. I don't care, you know. I like to start on the feet, and, you know, if the clinch happens, I'll take it to the ground, or maybe I won't. I mean, depends how I feel. I just train all aspects, you know. I think people look at, like, oh, he hasn't fought in 3 years, like, how's he gonna perform? It's like I said, we're always training. It's not like I just started training for this fight, you know? I don't think ring rust is real. I mean, I've taken breaks in my amateur career and came back and had great performances, so just want everyone to know that I'm ready to go, ready to do it.
We heard from him. Let's take a look at the keys to victory.
So for Kraschinsky, you got to be thinking, just go ahead and relax. Obviously, he's calculated. He was 5-1 as an amateur, 1-0 as a pro, but he hasn't been inside the cage professionally in nearly 3 years. So for him, it's about getting that cage experience and getting some minutes inside the ring, getting some rounds under his belt.
With that layoff, though, he's got 3 consecutive wins, his pro debut, and 2 amateur fights. Let's now make way for his opponent.
And now, into the red corner from Miami, Florida, it's time for Diego Perez.
34-year-old Diego Perez comes in with a 1-3 record. Let's hear from Perez.
My name is Diego Perez. I'm 34 years old. I have a record of 1-3. I'm fighting out of CMMA in Los Angeles, California, and I'm originally from Miami, Florida. I have nothing nasty to say about Zack whatsoever. I'm sure he's a nice dude. Seems like a well-rounded fighter. And pretty much the nastiest thing is that I'm going to beat him up. I think I'm creative. I'm tactical. I think I have a lot of will to win. The nicest thing I can say about Zack, good-looking guy. Seems like a good father, well-rounded martial artist. You know, excited to be in there in the cage with him.
Let's take a look at the keys to victory for Diego Perez.
Yeah, for Diego Perez, the key is get off to an early start. Don't wait. Don't let your opponent get loose. As Ray said, his opponent's got about 3 years outside the cage, so Diego's got to utilize his striking, set up his takedowns, and make this a mixed martial arts fight.
Let's see how these two match up as we take a look at the tail of the tape.
You see Diego Perez, 34 years of age, is going to have about an inch and a half reach advantage over his opponent. Both of these guys fighting out of storied camps, but, you know, Zack Kraschinsky, Ray, minus 120, he's the favorite here.
Yeah, even though he's been away from the cage for 3 years, I think it's the fact that Diego Perez, with a 1-3 record, is the underdog at plus 105. Also, the over-under 2.5 rounds, meaning that the public believes that this fight could very well go the distance.
Remains to be seen as we set the stage. Back to the cage and Chris Gregory.
Ladies and gentlemen, tonight, UpNext Fighting Promotions in association with Bash Entertainment bring you 3 rounds of MMA action at a 160 catchweight, sponsored by Nazo Boxing. Should it go the distance, the judges at ringside are Mylan Ayers, Chris Crail, and Elliot Kelly. Let's go. First in the blue corner, wearing blue-gray, weighing 161 pounds. He stands 5'11", age 27, fighting out of Boss Rutan Elite MMA. He is 1-0 as a pro. From Agoura Hills, California, introducing Zack Kraschinsky. And across the cage in the red corner, he's wearing green. He also weighed 161 pounds. He stands 6'1", age 34. Representing CMA with a record of 1-3 from Miami, Florida, presenting Diego Guts Perez. Your referee for tonight's fight, in charge of the action, John Romero.
All right, John, we all been over the instructions back in the dressing room. Remember, protect at all times, obey my commands at all times. If you want to touch gloves, go ahead and do so now. Let's go back to our corners and come out fighting.
Stage is set for this battle at 161 pounds. And Zack Kraschinsky, despite the layoff, coming in with a 3-fight win streak to the amateur ranks and his pro debut. On the flip side, Diego Perez, coming off of a round 1 submission loss to Jonathan Martin, will look to turn things around this time out. Those sounds were off and running and flying into battle. There was Kraschinsky.
It's almost like Diego Perez almost anticipated that. He caught it midair.
Diego Perez looking for the trip here. Kraschinsky doing a good job of maintaining the vertical base. Nice uppercut from Diego Perez.
I don't mind that from Kraschinsky, though, to come out 3 years away from the cage and try something different to try to end the fight in quick fashion.
Well, he does have dynamite in both his hands. He's got KO power. He is a vicious, vicious striker. So it's no surprise Diego Perez is trying to grind him up against the cage here.
The lone victory, pro victory, a round 1 rear naked choke with Kraschinsky, trying to get him in position for just that, but warding it off was Diego Perez. He's got his sea legs, does Perez.
Kraschinsky in on a single leg here. He's trying to elevate.
It's almost like he was looking for a high crotch to try to throw him a little bit, but to no avail.
Good job utilizing the wizard by Diego Perez, keeping that fight on the feet here.
The lone victory for Diego Perez thus far, unanimous decision victory, and both guys jockeying for position up against the cage.
This is big for Kraschinsky to be able to try to knock off some of that cage rust, because I don't care who you are, when you're away from the cage for a year or more, you obviously feel some type of rust when it comes to rhythm and timing.
Yeah, and you can spar all the rounds you want. It's just not the same as that adrenaline dump you might face when you're doing it for real under the bright lights of UpNext. Nice little combination there.
Perez just landed a beautiful right hand. Now he's trying to take the back of Kraschinsky. Diego Perez in dominant position here, locking up the body triangle.
Well, the right hand landed. Why? Because of timing. Diego Perez had a beautiful job to time the fact that Kraschinsky was coming forward. He patted his feet, and then he unleashed that right hand.
Diego Perez loves to throw combinations. In a recent interview with Thor Skanky, he said he's got a bunch of them in his playbook, including one he calls the attitude adjustment.
A little bit of a cut underneath the left eye of Zack Kraschinsky.
Welcome back to competition, Mr. Kraschinsky.
Diego Perez riding that body lock here. As Kraschinsky's trying to create a scramble, he eats a lot of right hands to the side of the head. Perez really starting to get loose with the ground and pound here, guys.
This would be a big win for Diego Perez to be able to stop an undefeated up-and-comer in Zack Kraschinsky.
No doubt, and Perez does have the experience edge. Comes in to this fight with 4 fights under his belt to the one of Kraschinsky, and
also had a kickboxing match earlier this year, Todd.
Yes.
All Diego Perez so far here in the first round. Sorry, Todd.
Absolutely, go for it.
You see Perez looking to fish that arm underneath the chin. Oh, beautiful job by Kraschinsky to turn into it, but now he's in an armbar position.
Official calling for time here, and we'll see if we can figure out exactly what's going on. You can see that
he might have injured his arm.
Warning him about the lock of some sort there, and it certainly had obviously an L effect.
Oh, he's trying to get it back. His arm back
trying to get it back in the socket.
I don't know why he got a warning for that. That was a legal maneuver.
To me, the fight should be over, guys, and it should be in favor of Diego Perez unless I saw something.
Yeah,
Technical submission, there you go.
the official waving it off. It looked like the official was admonishing Perez, but maybe he was just explaining what went down. Let's take a look back at it, gentlemen.
You see Perez grabbing the arm after locking up the triangle here, putting a lot of pressure. And as he converts over there, I guess the referee saw something, but
Might have hurt it too.
yeah,
Might have hurt
Kraschinsky's
it
left
pop out.
arm in absolute agony right now.
So I think what happened with the referee is that obviously he broke the hold immediately, which is massive to be able to look out for the health of Zack Kraschinsky. But after he did that, he should have waved his hands in the air to wave off the fight, because we were wondering, did he do something illegal? Clearly that was not to be the case.
Yeah, and you got to give credit to Kraschinsky. He was doing everything he could to get it back into place. He wanted to keep fighting.
But at the same time, though, you should have never broken the position if he didn't go ahead. It's a technical submission, but the position should have never been broken unless the fight was over. That's the only way you can stop it, because Perez wasn't doing anything illegal.
And Kraschinsky in agony on the mat here.
Really is. And see if he can get some help getting that thing back into place, as our own Jonathan King is going to relocate to the cage for a word.
And Todd, how big of a win is this for Diego Perez to come in? You're the underdog, 1-3 your record. You come out, you defeat an undefeated fighter who was coming back and looking to make a triumphant return to the cage.
And a heartbreaking way for Zack Kraschinsky to eat the first loss of his career. But yeah, Perez, was putting in a great performance before that, controlling the action on the ground.
One thing I love about Diego Perez at 34 years of age is that he was working the entire time. Even though he gave up position, which you could have easily been like, okay, here we go again. Instead, he kept working. You see him busy here, and then he was immediately, as soon as he gave up his back, he was working on trying to cinch in something. He looked for the arm bar, boom, he got it, and then immediately, that's when the shoulder came out of place.
Yeah, and there you saw a good look at it. As soon as Perez repositioned that right leg over the top, you could see it dislocate, and I gotta believe that the referee probably heard it pop too.
Absolutely, but then again, like I said, not to pound the pulpit, but I'll do so anyway. The referee should have immediately, he broke the hold right, and he should have put his arms up in the air to wave it off.
All right, well, maybe this will shed some light on things. Back to the cage and Chris Craig.
A round of applause for these warriors. Let's hear it. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a referee stoppage at 3 minutes, 22 seconds of round one. Your winner by an injury TKO out of the red corner, Diego Perez. And also a big round of applause for his opponent, Zack Kraschinsky.
Great sportsmanship there. And Perez awarded the TKO victory by injury, and Jonathan King standing by to get a word.
Hopefully the
Diego
injury
Perez,
isn't bad with, Kraschinsky, because you hate to see someone come back
All right,
after 3
ladies
years.
and gentlemen, I am here with the winner, Diego Perez. Hey, Zach, get over here. Before we get to the winner, let's put your hands together one more time for Zack Kraschinsky. Zach, obviously not the way you wanted the fight to go. What's going through your mind right now?
I don't know. I've never had my shoulder pop out in training. Nothing. Never had any problems with my shoulder. After our first exchange, he sprawled. I sat out, and I felt it pop forward, and it was out the whole round. And he was on my back, and I had one arm. And I was like, just make it to the second round. Maybe he'll pop back in, but I don't know how to fucking pop back in. I never had to, so. But he was beating me, man. He hit me with the straight. He stuffed my takedown. He would have won that round regardless, it sounds like. So hats off to Diego. He's a tough kid. I knew he was going to be a tough fight. I watched his kickboxing match a little bit ago. He was throwing hands, kicks, everything. He almost hit me with that front kick up the middle. But I wish my shoulder didn't fucking pop out. Sorry for cussing.
Put your hands together for tough as nails, Zack Kraschinsky. But tonight, the night belongs to you, Diego. You had that arm deep. Did you feel it pop?
No, I don't think it happened on that armbar. I think it was just off that sprawl. Like you said, it was a heavy sprawl, and it kind of extended his arm in a weird way, you know, and I could kind of feel it when I got on his back, that he wasn't really responding to me. Yeah, I just want to say thank you so much to all my coaches, everybody at CMMA. I would not have been able to do anything without you guys. You guys really changed me as a person, as a fighter. And thank you so much to everybody that came out to support tonight. It really means a lot to me, you know? This is my first victory in like 3 years, you know, and I came so close up until right now, and it feels fucking amazing.
Now it's your first victory in a long time. You're riding a mental high right now. When can we expect to see you back inside the UpNext cage?
January.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, what do you say? You want to see Diego fight in January? Put your hands together one more time for your winner, Diego Guts Perez. Back to you, Todd.
Thank you, Jonathan. Diego Perez wants to keep things rolling, wants to get back in the UpNext cage in January. And this was a huge, pivotal, momentum-switching victory for Diego Perez. We go to a special interview now. West Side, Dion Young. Well, we'll be going to that momentarily. But
you got to love Diego Perez,
yes.
though. I mean, away from the cage for 3 years, comes back, gets a win in the way that he did. He's a pro's pro, and you got to love that. And now he's 2-3. He comes back and fights at the end of January at the next fighting, and he very well could be 3-3, back to 500. When you're at that point, guess what? Things start over again.
No question. Yeah, he certainly looked very impressive in victory. Still to come, the main event. We will crown the first ever bantamweight champion. 2 fighters with big fight experience. They step into the UpNext cage. Somebody is taking home the gold.
Todd, I got to tell you, man, I am freaking excited for this main event. I mean, talk about 2 guys that like to stand and bang. They are absolute savages. These guys love to come. They have this zest for combat. Cody Gibson, man, oh man, I've never seen that guy ever in a boring fight. His opponent tonight, Cisco Rivera, gonna come out with everything and some. Boys, we are in for something quite dynamic.